Oh man.
Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to a new episode of Can I Kick It FC. I'm your host, as always, Elliot Barr, and is joining me is my Haitian best friend, Chenier. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm doing good. Doing good. Could be better, but
I'm
I
doing
mean,
that.
we. Oh yeah, we just finished watching the Jamaica Panama game, and that just wow,
Yeah,
wow.
I told you, man. I'm still like tearing up a little bit because this is Jamaica's first ever win, men's or women's at a World Cup, and like
Hmm.
from all the heartache and struggle I've been through as a Jamaica fan, like seeing this, and we're gonna talk about it today in this episode. But it's just magical, man. So for those who don't know, and if you're listening to this show, you probably should know. I'm partially Jamaican. Chenier is Haitian. All right. And both of our teams are in the Women's World Cup. And this is probably the first time ever, or probably the first time ever, um, we can do this kind of episode where we get to talk about our teams in the World Cup, how they're performing. We know most of the episodes for Can I Kick It are supposed to be evergreen content. And this is still evergreen in a sense, but kind of present day. So if you're listening to this in like 5 years when Jamaica or Haiti or, you know, battling out for the Women's World Cup again in the final, you now know why. Oh man. So Chenier, I say let's get started off. Let's talk about kind of like chronologically, like the path for both teams getting to the World Cup. So if you want to, I can start and then we can switch and just go back and forth like that.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I'll start. So pretty much the path for Jamaica started off, the path to qualification started off at the CONCACAF Women's Championship. That took place in 2022 in Mexico, which I remember hearing about it last year, but I didn't really watch it as closely as I should have. But it's funny enough because both of our teams were in the same group. We were in Group A. Is the Group A was filled of USA, Jamaica, Haiti, and Mexico, who was the host country. Mexico bombed out of this group. Did not score a goal. Gave up 5 goals. Finished bottom of the group. Haiti finished third in that group. You guys advanced to the Inter Confederation playoffs, and then we advanced through the group. Obviously, we lost to the USA, but we advanced through the group um, to then play, qualify for the Women's World Cup, and also advance to the knockout stages. And in Group B, you also had Canada, Costa Rica, Panama, and Trinidad and Tobago. I think we can both agree that Trinidad and Tobago not making it is a good thing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
um, but yeah, I mean, obviously we got knocked out in the semifinals there, but I mean, the path also for Jamaica also took place in, finishing third in the CONCACAF women's group. Um, when we were there, my fault. I don't know why I did that there, but we beat Costa Rica, finished third, and for us, like getting back to back World Cups was huge. But we'll talk about that later. I'll let you talk about Haiti's qualification process to get to the World Cup.
Well, Haiti. I think the biggest focus for Haiti is the hardships off the field.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we can go very far back in history, but I think the biggest um, issue with Haiti, the biggest event that really set the nation back as a whole in the past 10-20 years is the earthquake in 2010.
Yeah.
The earthquake that hit Haiti that completely devastated the nation due to deforestation, um, throughout the history of Haiti, it made things worse with loose soil. There are no big tree roots holding soil together. So once that ground starts to shake, everything is sliding, everything's moving, and the devastation was catastrophic. And I think to this day, fast forward 13 years, I do not think Haiti has fully recovered from that. Um, with that, you have a lot of ups and downs politically, a lot of revolts. Fairly recently, a presidential assassination, um, and just complete turmoil in the nation. Where at this point right now, Haiti is not doing well and is not doing well politically, not doing well socially. Um, the people that live in Haiti are in danger, and it's to the point where this national team, this women's national team, and the men's national team as well, are training and practicing in the Dominican Republic and playing their game in the Dominican Republic rather than in their home nation. Um, with the poverty, with the setbacks, there are very few Haitians that can actually uh, make the trip across the border to the Dominican Republic to watch the team play. So it's not like they're getting a big fan base that is watching them when they're at home. So you have this situation that during qualification matches for both the men's and the women's team, they don't have the 12th man the same way a lot of other nations did. When you look at some of the reputation of some of the other Caribbean nations, CONCACAF nations, of their when they play at home, when you think of Costa Rica, Mexico, Jamaica, um, most of Central American countries, when you go to play there, it's a fortress. We didn't have that. We didn't have that all throughout qualification, and now for Haiti um, to come through the come through to qualify for the World Cup through all of this hardship, through all of this turmoil, it really, really, really speaks volumes for what these young women have done.
Yeah. And also on the Jamaica side, I mean, it hasn't been easy for them either. Like there was a whole crowdfunding campaign to get Jamaican women's side over to the World Cup. If you haven't heard about it, pretty much the Jamaica FA hasn't really done a good job of managing the funds of the federation. Somewhere so that the mother on the Jamaican team pretty much asking for cash apps so they can, you know, train and practice and have food and things like that to get there. And, you know, you don't hear about these problems so much on the men's side. Not just, you know,
Mhm.
making FA, but the men's side of football. But in the
Yeah,
women's side, you know, you're hearing these problems of, you know, inadequate training facilities and inadequate um, preparation for tournaments and things like that. So much so, like 2019, that's one of the biggest things that hindered us. It's like the team was ready to go on the field, but you know they couldn't train properly. You know, they didn't have the things in place to be competitive, and that's unfortunate because I mean we're going to talk about it now, but like there's some fun players on both sides of Jamaica
absolutely.
and Haiti. So, like for Jamaica, for instance, like everyone knows Bunny Shaw, like Khadijah Shaw. Everyone knows her. She's the number 9 for Man City, 26 years old. She actually leads Jamaica in caps and appearances of all time. I think it's 36 appearances and 58 goals, something like that. If I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken, I might have the numbers mixed up, but she's she is it. Like she is the focal point of this Jamaica team. Even so much so that when she got the red card, I got really, really scared and nervous for this Panama game because I was like, how are we going to score? She is the focal point. Um, Another player that stands out for Jamaica is Allison Swabby, who scored the goal. against Panama, a second ever goal in the World Cup. 26 years old, plays for PSG, center back. She actually plays with her sister um, in the back line there, so it's kind of cool. You know, you got sisters back there playing for Jamaica and everything like that. And then Deasia Blackwood, she's a left back. She plays for Fleury, who are in France. 26 years old, and then Rebecca Spencer. So Rebecca Spencer actually did a one-time switch to come play for Jamaica. She used to play for England in the U20s back in 2010s, but didn't play. Wasn't getting called up by England, right? Jamaica, if you haven't realized this on the men's side as well, they've done a much better job of trying to recruit dual nationals. It's almost like what the USA is doing, of like getting like
Yeah.
German Americans and Italian Americans and guys who have American passports to come play here. And it kind of like it's the same pitch that Americans like. It's like, do you like they did with it's the same pitch that America did with Florin Balogun. This is what Jamaica is doing. It's pretty much saying like, all right, you can be the third choice center back or third choice striker on the USMT, get called up randomly, so right,
Yeah.
or you can come play for us and start, right. And not every player cares about that. So some players like these players do get paid, and the pay rate is a little bit higher, or whatever. But Jamaica is making that now. Like you're going out here trying to recruit guys, and you're doing that on the men's and women's side. So going and get like a veteran goalkeeper like Rebecca Spencer, who plays for Tottenham Hotspur's women, and granted, Tottenham Hotspur's women almost got relegated, but I mean, it just speaks like there's now like a quality difference, and you saw that in the first game against France. So she's a key part, and then Trudy Carter, 28-year-old, she plays Levante out on the left wing. So those are the key players for Jamaica if you're looking to get into them. But those are the guys that like stand out, and I would say are kind of like the backbone of the team. Like the overall ages of them 26, 26, 26, 32, 28. So like if Jamaica were to qualify for another World Cup, they haven't announced where the next World Cup is, right?
I think it's looking like it's going to be here.
Okay, y'all just right because it's supposed to be just USA and Mexico.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it
Okay,
looks like it looks like we're gonna. It's. I don't think it's etched in stone yet, but it's a strong possibility that it's going to be here in the U.S.
so I mean, if that's the case, then like that team, that team will probably be on his legs, right? Because by that time they'll be hitting 30 and everything like that.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
like this is a team that's rounding in, kind of coming out of their peak form. Like this may be the peak, but they're rounding out of that peak form. But we got some good players coming through, like Brown, Simmons. But we'll talk about one of those players coming up soon. But Chenier, who are some of the key players for Haiti?
all right. For Haiti, I'm going to go with a few of them. So we have the two Louis, Bacheba Louis, who is 26 years old. She's coming out of the French Division One club of FC Fleury. So um, she's fairly young. Fairly, when I say fairly young, I don't mean in age in terms of, but more so in terms of a major career in one of the top leagues in the world. Fairly, uh, she is an attacking player. She one of the regular starters for the Haitian national team, and then you go to Ketna Louis. Ketna Louis, who has had a bit of a longer time in France. She plays for Montpellier. She is a fullback. Has shown a lot of potential as a fullback. She starts regularly for Montpellier and is very key to Haiti's defensive line. Of course, we cannot talk about players without talking about Teus, Haiti's goalkeeper, who is actually the only player on this squad that has any silverware for their club, playing for FC Miami City in USLW League. Um, She is a stellar goalkeeper, regular starter for FC Miami City, and a very very big key to this Haitian national team. And of course, we also have um, Mondesir, who also plays for Montpellier. Mondesir's 24. She's been at Montpellier for a while, so teammates with Louis. You have that connection, even though she plays a lot further up the field as a forward. And last but not least, um, the most revered player on the squad, the one who is actually making the biggest noise. Unfortunately, wasn't able to play in Haiti's second game due to a small injury. Is Dumornay, Melchi Dumornay, who plays for Stade de Reims in France, is a big name striker in the French first division. Just 19 years old. Just a very young player, but dynamic, and is one of those players. If you are a defender, you do not want her running at you with the ball. She has the ability to break ankles, to embarrass defenders, and to leave them in her dust. She has pace. She has control. It's like the ball is sometimes when she's dribbling forward is attached to her foot. She is probably the Bonnie Shaw of this team. The key player, the one that everyone's looking at as this is going to be the star of this team. This is the backbone right here. She is going to be the one that's going to be creating things all over the field.
Okay.
Yeah.
So talking about this year's World Cup, right? So like for Jamaica, like I said, our first ever World Cup appearance was back in France, 2019, before the world shut down.
Yeah.
But didn't do so well in that World Cup. Given so we were in a really tough group. It was Brazil, Italy, Australia, and Jamaica. Like we were kind of the I hate to say it, the beat up. We were the punching bag of that group. It's so much so that we gave 11 goals in that group. Only scored one goal that was in our last game against Australia, which we lost 1-4. But there were some blowouts there. But I mean, also inexperience. Like this was Jamaica's first ever time in the World Cup. This time coming in the second World Cup, I think that experience has bled through. Like you can see it now with the big clean sheet against France. I mean, Rebecca Spencer had 4 saves in that game. Amazing saves. I will say this though, I think France kind of downplayed us a little bit. I think they kind of thought it was a thing of, oh, we can play our typical game. We don't have to make too many adjustments. We can get past Jamaica. And Jamaica was ready to go. Like it was, all right, we're going to try to hit you 10, 15 minutes in the mouth. Nothing happens. All right, we're going to send in this defensive shell. And I mean, Blackwood played an amazing game defensively. Swaby played an amazing game defensively. Spencer played an amazing game, and we got out of there with a clean sheet against France, who, more or less is looked at as, one of the perennial challenges of winning this World Cup, right?
Yeah.
So that's a big result. I think the game, like this Panama game, speaks volumes because you're playing a familiar opponent. Like, so going back to 2019, the way how we made it to the World Cup is we beat Panama in a penalty kick shootout to get to the World Cup, right?
Yeah.
If we lose to Panama, Panama has their debut there in the World Cup. So we beat them, get into the World Cup and everything. But we played Panama, who's a familiar opponent. Haven't played them in a while, and we get get our first ever win at the World Cup, and like just to say that as Jamaican is wild to think of because I remember 1998. I'm 7 years old, and my mom is in our house watching the World Cup, and my parents are like, they're glued. Like you met my dad. You met my dad before Chenier. Like my dad isn't.
Yeah.
He's a sports watcher, but he ain't watching soccer like to watch it.
Yeah.
So winning remember seeing my dad in '98 watching the World Cup, and we're playing France, and we don't get out the group, we don't win anything, but it's been
Yeah.
a while since I've seen Jamaica on that stage, and seeing Jamaica in the 2019. We didn't have the greatest World Cup show, but seeing us back on that stage on the women's side was huge, and qualifying again for 2023, getting this win. I mean, it's monumental. It speaks to what you know Lori Donaldson, who, by the way, this is a cool fact for you, Chenier. I know we love cool facts on the show. You
Yes.
do realize he is the first non-Jamaican to coach his team?
Really?
Yeah, he's the first non-Jamaican.
Wow.
He's an American. I mean, yeah, he's the first non-Jamaican to coach his team, man. Um, well, hold on, let me check that back because I'm also grabbing this from like Jamaica's website. Who's that the best? No, my fault. He is Jamaican. I lied. I think I was looking at someone else wrong. So we've only had Jamaican coaches. My fault. I was looking at it wrong. Yeah, having him as our head coach, man, I think he's done a good job of not only getting these players on the same page, but also making the tactics like understandable and digestible. If that makes sense.
Yes.
Um, I think the other thing too that Jamaica is going to try to do, and we'll talk about it before we move on to the two players who we're ready to talk about, but
Yeah.
I just give him a lot of credit, man, for what he's had to go through and endure with Jamaican Federation. And I mean, it's an uphill battle, man, and he's done an amazing job with it so far. But I digress. I'm sorry, I made a mistake of saying he was the first non-Jamaican. Um,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
move on and let you talk about Haiti.
Yeah. For me, this Haitian national team, this is their first time on this stage ever. The men were in the World Cup back in the '70s. We did an episode on on the star of that Haitian national team. Just go back
Yeah,
in the feed. You'll hear about it about Manosano. Um, had had a very good showing in that World Cup. Didn't make it out of the group, but had a very good showing in that World Cup back in the '70s. But this women's team has never been on this stage and has never looked this confident and this good. Um, I, for me, my memories of the Haitian national team are of my parents telling me stories of this lauded Haitian national team that qualified for the World Cup that went and bloodied the nose of Italy, one of the favorites to win it, um, scoring against Argentina, and having a very very good showing and heroic performances, and especially of Emmanuel Sanon, who no matter what stadium he went to in Haiti, that stadium was packed out. Just people would come in droves just to watch him play. Um, it really makes me feel really good, and especially with both the men and the women's team both on an upward trajectory. And now to see this women's team qualify for the World Cup and going into the first game, really taking the game to another favorite of this World Cup, England. As we know, the I'd say the four favorites for this World Cup would be France, England, USA, and maybe Germany.
yeah, I
I
can
mean,
see that. I think they're
the
probably
fourth
like
that fourth spot is
yeah,
is
they're probably
kind
like
of
tier
near what.
one. You had to ask.
Yeah, but the three tops are England, France, USA, and for
Also
Haiti
Japan.
to Japan, who has been kind of a dark horse at this point. I don't think until the first game anyone really put them in that top three conversation. But after their performance so far, everyone's like, "Uh oh, this is a juggernaut. That's asking for someone to try to that's daring someone to try to stop them." But
That Spain and Japan game in the group is going. I hope they play it out. I hope because both teams are.
well,
I hope they go at each other.
they need to go at each other because they need to decide who's going to get that first spot. Because whoever gets that second spot is going to have a tough route.
I want
And
it.
so, but anyway, we digress. I mean, this World Cup is extremely exciting. This is probably the most exciting women's World Cup that I've in living memory for me. Um, Following the Women's World Cup ever since '99, the time of Mia Hamm and Julie Foudy and Brandy Chastain, um, I really am really happy to see how far it's come, and I'm really happy to see Haiti playing a such a big role in the anticipation of this World Cup. Dumonet being one of those stars that everyone is looking out for and saying this is going to be one of those stars of the future. Only 19 years old, so you know she'll be there for the next one if we qualify, um, and will be at her peak. So a fantastic performance against England, where England are only able to score a penalty kick. And to be honest with you, to this point, no one has scored on Haiti in open play or even on set piece apart from a penalty kick. And
Which
China also a penalty kick.
they like for that Haiti team. My fault. I didn't mean to cut you off there, but
No, that it is.
it's just wild to think about. Like you talk about the team, like this is a debutant nation. Like this team has never been on this stage, right? And usually when
Yeah,
you see debutant nation like Vietnam, Thailand, Costa Rica, like they get blown out the water, like 4-5. You know, we used to talk about like a 2-0, 3-0 loss as a oh, that's a good loss. You know,
yeah,
like
exactly.
you go up against an England team who just won the Euros and held them only to one goal on a what was it like a PK? You said well, yeah,
Yeah,
both
on a
goals.
PK.
Yeah. And then you play against China, who's been a world power. Like think of China. I think of China in the sense of like on the women's side is how I would think of like God
I'd probably
like
say the Netherlands on the men's side.
yeah like they've
A
been a
big
world power.
history.
There. Yeah, things
Yep.
like that.
A a big history hasn't yet won it, but definitely.
I'm trying to think. Did China win a World Cup?
No, they went to a finals.
Okay, that's right.
They've been
I was
to a
thinking
finals.
right.
Um, but it's looking at this China team that it's I would say is a shadow of its past. I would say in terms of how well they've been performing lately.
It's
Haiti dominating the game, and I don't want to go too deep into it of how I feel that that game was stolen from Haiti. Three stone cold penalties that were not called. Um, and also talking about speaking of the Haitian national team, we haven't even talked about Delépine, the head coach. Nicolas Delépine is I think this is his second year coaching this national team, and he has put together a very good team. Not one major thing that I do appreciate about him is he has as much time as he can devote to it, really delves into the Haitian culture to
yeah.
understand the players that he is coaching, to make sure that he can communicate to them in a manner that they would understand culturally, and that is something to be respected. And there are a lot of coaches that will go in if they're not from that nation, they'll be like, all right, I don't care if you're doing it my way. De la Philippine is very open to learning about the Haitian culture, and you can see there is an appreciation for him
Mhm.
from these women, that they know that he is this is one thing that even though he's nowhere near this type of personality, there is a lot of, in terms of the way the Haitian national team views him, a lot, kind of like Jose Mourinho, how there are players that in interviews many times we hear that when you are being coached by Jose Mourinho, you will walk through fire for him. And this is the relationship I think Nicola has with these women, that he has developed this team into such a team that they'll be like, whatever you say, coach, because we trust that you are going to do for us to get us to the best position we can be. And I could you can always tell a lot by coach by the way they react to certain situations in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And when the second foul inside the box that wasn't called for Haiti against China went down, I was scared that he was going to run out onto the field. He was so pissed off. I was the little. I was like, no, don't lose it, man. Don't lose it. He was livid, and you can see a lot of times coaches getting upset in these situations. But if there isn't that connection with the players, they get upset. It's more of a irritation and annoyance. No, Philippine was pissed. He was pissed, and you could see this closeness that he has with his players, and it will help this team in this final game against Denmark, and we'll see what these girls can do. I am very hopeful that this women's team, that even if they may not make it out of the group in this World Cup, that this is a big sign for the future. They've put themselves on the map. They've made themselves known to the world, and it can only go up from here.
Yeah. Also, the cool thing about Delapin is, so FIFA Carremo, like you can manage like a club team and a country at the same time, but you really don't see it in real life.
Yeah,
He's one of the few coaches I can think of that ever to do that. Like he still manages Grenoble in
yeah.
France, still the
Hmm.
women's. And I think it was on Total Soccer Show. They were just saying, I think it was Taylor. I think he was covering Haiti. He
Hmm.
was making a point about how he's actually never been in Haiti to coach a game. He's always been in the Dominican Republic. So that's
Exactly. Yeah.
a cool factor. But let's go ahead. Let's talk about some of the youth that is on his team. Somewhere so that with Jamaica, man, I mean, you know where I'm gonna start.
Yes. Yes.
uh, her dad is a
Had an
former
appearance today.
her brother is a kicker now. She just made her World Cup debut. Is Cameron Simmons, man. The 19-year-old plays for Tennessee Volunteers. She actually has 3 goals, 3 caps already, 1 goal. Um, she played at the CONCACAF Women's Championship Series.
Mhm.
There for us there. I believe she scored there. If I'm not mistaken, I believe she did score there. But she has her first cap there for us. And the reason why I'm so excited for her is just because, like, if you saw her in a Panama game, I don't want to use the old trap stuff. She's patient, she's quick, but she's interpreted space really well. She's quick
Mhm.
on and off the ball, which is a hard thing for a lot of players to do. You see a lot of players that are quick off the ball, but when they get on the ball, they kind of slow up a little bit.
Yeah.
She's the same speed with the ball on her feet, regardless. It is not so much straight line speed; it's more of like a lateral, diagonal quickness, which is dangerous. Um, and I want to say like she does need to develop a little bit, like her on the ball skills and interpretations of like combination play. But outside of that, man, just, it, I'm just so excited for her. Like I really hope Richmond women's team signs her to be the first player for the women's team when they come. But outside of that, another player that I think and she started actually today for us. She's like
Mhm.
I really think when the next World Cup come around, which will be in 2027, I believe. Yeah, 2027. If it's here in America, I think Jamaica, because by that time Bunny Shaw will be 30, so she'll be on her last legs. I really think Jody Brown is the next one coming. Like she plays forward. She played a little bit of winger today. She plays forward. for Florida State Seminoles. And mind you, she's not with a women's team. She plays in college, and she was low key the dominant force on that team, man. Oh my gosh, she is like just how her on the wings, like she does this move. It's almost you know how like Vinicius will get the ball on his right foot, but he'll
Hmm.
cut back inside and then take it to his left and then cut around you. She
Yes.
does that so many times over and over again where she gets it. So she plays it on the left wing and she'll get the ball her right foot and she'll cut in right. And as soon as that
Hmm.
defender cheats in, she'll cut it back to her left and drive in behind them. And she does that over and over and over again. It is so devastating, man. And I'm just so happy like she's with us. um, like I'm really happy to have her on the team. And then the last one that I want to shout out is Solon Washington. She plays for Conquer Fire FC. She only got 2 appearances so far. In the midfield, she hasn't really made her World Cup debut, but she's another player as well that, if she can get her footing more in with the national team, I think she has upside as well. But Cameron Simmons and Jody Brown, I think that's the future of the attack. Like you take those two after this World Cup, and you give Bunny Shaw the rest of. We'll call her out when we need her. Almost like how Keylor Navas does for Costa Rica. Like we'll break a case of emergency when we play Gold Cup and stuff like that. But you give
Hmm.
Simmons, you give Jody Brown the run. Like you let them play the friendlies and whatnot. You let them go and get them the experience needed because they are the future.
Yeah. It's the future is really looking bright for that Jamaican national team.
Yeah.
I would say the Haiti national team. It's a very young squad. I'd say your oldest player is around 30. Yes, you have most of the players are around 24, 25. The average age is 22. The average age of this squad is 22. You have a lot of young players in Florcy Joseph who it hasn't really made a big mark yet for the team, but is definitely showing a lot of potential. She's had a couple of caps with and a couple of appearances. Um, Diana Louis, who also very young, and of course we have Dumone, who has already shown that she is an elite level player, a world class level player, playing for one of the top teams in France. Um, even Teus, who's she's 24, but when you really think about it, the age range for goalkeepers is always a lot later than the age range for field players, I guess because of the fact that there's a lot less running involved. There's a lot less mileage on the legs. It's more of a mental game than it is a physical one for goalkeepers. It's more about the smarts and the intelligence and the wisdom. And she has already shown a lot of wisdom with regards to the way she plays, the way she commands her back line, the saves she makes, her positioning. Because there are a lot of Terry's saves that are not like front of the sports section of the newspaper type saves. They are, you can tell that the positioning is just fantastic. And of course, now we got to bring it back to Richmond because that's where we are. um,
The whole
we
reason why we did
have Hey, look, yeah, this is one of the big major reasons why we did this podcast. We have um, a former Richmond Kickers player, Derek Etienne, who has a son who is playing for Atlanta United and who plays for the men's Haitian national team, and now his daughter Danielle Etienne is on this squad. She is currently playing at Fordham University. So she is college level. Then 22 years old, probably just about to get out of college, and is playing for her national team. She was born in Richmond. Um, it it's she is one of those players that can is very flexible in the midfield. She plays several different positions in that midfield. She has several different roles in the midfield depending on how they're playing, depending on who they're playing against. Um, Delapine will put her in different roles in that midfield. She could play a six, she could play an eight, she can play as a wide midfielder. She has many. She's definitely one of those utility players. She has the potential to be a James Milner, and that is always, always, always going to be valuable for any team she plays for. The, you look at these two teams, you look at Jamaica, you look at Haiti, and you see a really bright spark, and you see the potential for a new power rising in the women's game, which is always good. The more of them you see, um, the more challenging opponents that the top tier nations will have, it makes for a better competition. You see the last World Cup, how, let's be honest, the USA kind of walked their way into the finals to a certain extent, and you have games like their first game against Thailand, 13-0. That World Cup was pretty good, but so far this World Cup has been fireworks, fireworks, fireworks. And when you have that level, a smaller gap between the weakest team and the strongest team, it makes for some interesting games. It makes for some really, really good games. And this Haiti national team and this Jamaican national team are bringing a lot of that dark horse challenge to the top dog.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, it's just keeping it in CONCACAF. I mean, when you look at it, like the traditional powers have been Canada and the United States for real. Like
Yeah. Hmm.
Mexico's been there; they've been budgeting on the downswing, and it's really been hard for the Caribbean teams to break through. Costa Rica as well. Now we are, and I think if you look at both programs going forward, I think this is clear examples of like the men's teams are okay. Jamaica's men's team is refounding themselves. Um, they're getting a little bit better. Haiti's men team is okay, getting better, but the women's sides are the bright spot right now. And I think if both of these federations want to make their stronghold in soccer, honestly, I would be like, yo, put your money and resources into the women's side and build that team up. You
Yeah.
got just qualified for World Cup. You got another World Cup in 2027, assuming it's coming to America. They're going to be in an easy group for that to qualify because USA is going to qualify automatically. So you're not going to have to worry about them. Canada is probably going to be on a downswing because they're going to have to rebuild after Sinclair retires soon, if she ever
Yeah.
retires. I don't think she might mess around and play in like 7 World Cups.
Yeah, yeah, she might pull a Demarcus Beasley. She probably will.
Yeah. And then Mexico, who's going to be completely rebuilding. So there's opportunity there to prepare for the next 4 years after this World Cup, after good showings, to get ready and have even a better showing. I
Hmm.
think, before we wrap up, I think, you know, Jamaica got a big game coming up against Brazil. A draw or win gets us through to the next stage. And to be honest with you, it would be amazing if we get to the round of 16. I don't think it's the end of the world if we don't. But I think a good showing against that Brazil team who's going to have to go for it. I think winning that game there, man, it would do so much for the women's side because they will be the first. And correct me if I'm wrong, Shannon. I believe they would be the first Caribbean side ever to qualify for the round of 16 in a major world tournament, right?
Um, I believe
I think
so.
outside of Haiti in '74, Trinidad in 2000, Jamaica '98. Yeah, they will be the first.
Yeah.
They will be the first Caribbean side ever to qualify for the round of 16, which I mean, right there, like honestly, they don't got to ring the round of 16 game. Right there, you've won. You've
Yeah.
won.
Yeah.
You've
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And even when you look at a lot of people, they look at stats, and you'll look at, for example, this Haiti team, and they haven't scored a goal yet. They haven't won a game yet. They've lost both of their first games. But when you look at what this team has done,
Mhm.
when you look at how they performed, how they really took it to England, how they dominated large swaths of the game against China. When you see the performance of Teus, you look at this squad and you say, this is this is this is definitely, even if they go out in the group stage, even if they go out in the group stage without a goal, I can hold my head high and say that these women made me proud.
Yeah.
And that's not often that you can say that. Um, as
I
for
mean,
Jamaica,
this is really like there's so many
yeah,
times when we hit each other about Jamaica or Haiti, and we're just like, all right, how bad are we going to play in this tournament? But I mean, just have the women to like really. Both of these women are carrying the water for these federations. Jamaican
yes,
men may like the more talent. Like Mikel Antonio, Leon Bailey, Damari
Damari
Gray.
Gray, yeah,
They haven't shown it on the World Cup qualification. Went through and they finished dead bottom of the group. You
yeah,
know, Haiti's men haven't been to a World Cup since '74. Both of these. I don't think Haiti's men had been in World Cup qualification. The final stage for Concacaf in a long time. So it's the
a
women
very
right.
long time.
Yeah, it's the women right now who carrying the water and doing amazing things, man. And
Yeah,
I think that's a good point for us to probably wrap up on.
yeah. I mean, another thing is this is also an eye opener.
Yeah.
And the reason why this is something that can show big signs for the future. I mean, the Jamaican men's national team, they are, in terms of talent, they have a lot of talent in top leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Depending on certain games, there may be eyes and ears and noses sniffing around the other players on that squad in terms of bringing them to probably bigger leagues than they are currently playing in. But when you look at the Haitian men's national team, this Haitian women's national team, this Jamaican women's national team, you're seeing the unveiling of a lot of stars.
Yeah.
And you're going to see a lot of these people. For example, you look at Danielle Etienne, she doesn't play professionally. She played for college and now has is playing for the men's team. I mean, for the I'm sorry, for the national team. This is going to put some eyes on her, and
Oh
now
yeah.
she's gonna get some phone calls. You're gonna see a lot of these women on the Jamaican national team that are going to be getting phone calls from the NWSL, from from the French league, from the Spanish league, from the English league, and that is what you want to see. We've got Derek Etienne playing for Atlanta United. We've got a couple of the Haitian men's national team players that are playing in Europe. Are they going to be able to get deals for clubs higher up in the divisions of the leagues they play in? That is how you build the program, you build the team, you make sure that the young ones get their shine so that they can end up at bigger clubs, so that they can develop more, so that they can become bigger stars. Their talent level goes up, then the team's talent level goes up. When the team's talent level goes up, then they become bigger superpowers. The Brazilian league isn't one of the best in the world, but Brazil is one of the greatest in the world. Why? Because Europe goes sniffing around Brazil for those talents.
Yeah. So
So
I think the best way how to probably summarize all of this is like it's fair to say that Haiti and Jamaica aren't on the USA or Canada's level in CONCACAF,
no,
but they're
definitely
coming
not.
and they're knocking on that door, and there's a lot of talent that's building in these programs. Um, Chenier, man, it's been a long time since we did an episode just between the two of us, man. I think
Yeah, I know.
it's been a long time. It's been a long, long time. I kind of miss it. Listeners, we just want to say, first of all, thank you. Thank you for taking the time of your day to listen to this episode. You know, without y'all, we couldn't do these. Wouldn't be able to do these because nobody would listen. So thank you for listening. Uh, secondly, we know there's been some breaks in between episodes and whatnot. We thank y'all for being patient with us. It's just been busy. You know, life is changing. Seasons are coming and going, but we are still doing these episodes. We still love them. We haven't forgotten about y'all. And just, you know, we're excited to get back to these, man. So Chenier, anything else before we wrap up, buddy boy?
No, let's hope that both Haiti and Jamaica can end the group stages with a bang.
Well, yeah, let's hope so. Hopefully on a good note and move on and get ready, man. But with that being said, listeners, keep us in your podcast feeds, like, share, and subscribe, and we will holler at you guys next time. Be easy, be safe.